Hello everybody, this is Laura Alameri, and I wanted to do a quick video here on a question that I've been asked a lot lately on how can I wholesale a property where there is no equity, right? It seems impossible because if there's no equity, there is no way to make a profit, and therefore, how can I even wholesale it? Well, there are actually three ways to do that, and once you know these three ways, then think about the possibilities where you can talk to owners, and if there's no equity, you can still do something with that deal. So before we go into the three different ways, I want to say that it really depends also on the how is the property upside down, right? So because it depends on the nature of the liens against the property. So if the property is worth $200,000 and there is $220,000 in liens against the property, are these mortgage liens? Is there a first mortgage, a second mortgage, HOA, taxes, credit cards, repossession judgments, whatever it is? It really depends on the nature of the lien. And the other thing is, so that's the first thing. So when you talk to a potential lead, and he says that he's upside down, there is no equity in the property, the first thing I would do is find out the nature of those liens, because we're going to deal with them differently if it's mortgage liens or if they're other liens. Okay, so how do you find out which liens are on the property? Well, first, the best thing is to run a title search. So you can run a summary title or a letter report. Different title companies call it differently depending where you are, but that's how you are going to actually find out what liens are on the property. It's much more reasonable, the cost of a title letter report or some type of report on the title summary instead of full-blown title, but it will give you the same information as far as what liens are on the properties. So let's say now that your liens are mortgages, being a first mortgage or a first and second mortgage, which is eating up all the profits or the equity on the property. So the best thing to deal with for mortgages, the main reason is to do a short sale. Okay, now a lot of you know what short sale is. It's basically you negotiate with the bank to take a lower payoff, so that you can carve out some equity to sell the property and also to make a profit yourself. Because let's face it, when you wholesale, you want to buy low and sell low. So if you buy the property, excuse me, the property is worth $200,000, you want to buy it, 160, 170, and sell it for 170, 180. So you want to give a deal. You're not retailing, you're wholesaling. So when you do a wholesale, you have to go to the bank, and first of all, you have to get what they call a third-party authorization from the seller for you to talk and negotiate with the bank. Now, my suggestion is that you don't do it yourself, that you hire a short sale negotiator, somebody who has experience already in dealing with banks. So that's the first thing you do. You get the third-party authorization, contact the bank, and get the process going. Now, how you get the third-party authorization is the best way is to go on the website for the bank, and get their short sale package. And most banks want to have it on their letterhead, so that's the first thing you want to do. And then you talk to the bank and negotiate, or have a short sale negotiating for you, or negotiator. So your goal is to get the property down enough so that you can wholesale it. Now, how can you get it down enough for 220? Well, a good negotiator will know what to do, right? You need to show that the property needs a lot of work. The property's been sitting vacant. The owner is behind on his payments, so there is hardship. You want to show that maybe the area, is not what it used to be. That's one of the big things I do. And that's why I always include a cover letter when I send in my short sale package, explaining to the bank, okay, you want $200,000 for this property, but honestly, I can give you 120, 130, 140, because this is what is going on. The area came down, I even show pictures of bullet holes that were in the wall in front of the property. board ups. I send pictures of board ups. So I do as much as to justify why the big price reduction. And obviously, if it needs work, you want to take pictures of, let's say the roof needs to be replaced, or, there is a problem with the sewer line in the backyard, and you'll take a picture of that. So anything you can do to substantiate. So I send that in initially with a cover letter when I send in a short sale package. So I go in strong from the beginning. I don't just send in a short sale package expecting that maybe later on they come back. You want to start really getting that going. When they do their broker price opinion or BPOs or appraisal, even more, if I have to bring in a building inspector to dispute what they come back with, I do that. So there is a process that you should do in order to really get you a better chance at short sales. So I'm not going to go into a lot into the mechanics of doing a successful short sales. That's probably something I should do another video on. But the short sale works very well if you have to work mainly against mortgage balances, first and second mortgage, and some potential liens attached on that. Now, if your if the property is upside down, not because of the mortgages. So let's say it has a first mortgage for $100,000, but there is $120,000 between HOA, taxes have not been paid, and other things. Then my suggestion is that you try to have the title company or your negotiator negotiate with the different entities that have the liens attached to it. What do I mean by that? So first of all, you're better off having somebody else negotiate for you. If you work with a title company that's investor friendly, that they know, that's one of the first questions I ask a title company is that, do you help me negotiate these liens? Because a third party will have a much better success results than you would as far as negotiating liens, right? You are too much of an invested, interested party, they're not going to give you a break. So for example, if I call Capital One, who has a $10,000 judgment against the seller, and I ask them to discount it, they're going to say, well, maybe we just take off the interest. But if the title company calls them and say, there is a chance here you're not going to get any of this money because this property is behind on their payments, they're going to go out in foreclosure, they will take, I've done as much as discounting it to zero, or they would take 10% of what the balance is. But the thing is with the liens, when it comes to HOA liens, when it comes to credit cards, judgments, repossessions, taxes, okay, now it depends what taxes they are. If there is an IRS tax lien, you can appeal them to have them removed from the property and actually filed against the person or our assets. And so also, with HOA liens or other liens, you can negotiate, but again, have somebody else negotiate, not you. Because at the end of the day, especially if the owner is behind on his payments, then you can, whoever negotiates for you can say, I will take 10% of the balance so we can get this closed and you get some money, or he's going straight into foreclosure. And it might not be that he's going to foreclosure, maybe the foreclosure has not been set yet, but if you show hardship, if you show that he's behind on his payments, if you show that there is a possibility, maybe something has been filed already, even if it doesn't have a foreclosure date, it's definitely going to help discount his liens. So like I said, I've seen liens discounted as much as to 0 or 10% of the balance or 50% of the balance, but definitely enough to give me the equity that I needed in order for me to close. So you have short sales that works very well with the mortgage balances. You have the ones where you can negotiate the liens that are going to be paid off or paid down, so you have enough equity to make a profit. And the third option is wholesaling lease options. This is something that is very creative in a way that you can basically make money as a wholesaler by wholesaling lease options. So let's say you come across a property that there is no equity. And I like when the owner says, well, if I can sell it for what I need, I'm just going to rent it out. Great, you got the perfect situation for a lease option, because then you can go back to the owner and say, okay, so if you want to rent it out, I can do even better for you. What if you rent it out, make more money than if you would rent it up front, and at the end, somebody will buy from you. the equity catches up with what is owed. So that's a great strategy to tackle with owners that are going to be renting the property anyway if they don't get sold. People that do not want to short sell because maybe they don't want to ruin their credit or whatever reason might be. So you can offer that as an option. So you say, okay, I cannot give you what you want on your property today because that's pretty much market or more. I cannot we cannot do a short sale because they don't want to do a short sale. So let's go ahead this route. Why don't we rent it out and we do a lease option? Ask somebody to come up with $10,000 deposit. So let's say they buy the property is worth $200,000, but it's upside down for $220,000. So get somebody to come in with that, 5%, right? So it will be about $10,000, and then you keep, let's say, half or more of the deposit because you're basically creating a lease option with the seller, and then you are going to assign the lease option to a buyer. Okay. So you're going to assign the lease option to a potential buyer, and as part of your contribution to do that, you're going to keep half of the deposit. So the owner gets at least $5,000 up front or less. You can try to negotiate, maybe he gets only $2,000-3,000, depends how much you get down on the fee, but give him something, make it a win-win situation. So you give him, the owner, something, and then you make money up front, you move on, right? Because the lease option now is between whoever you found for that property and the seller. And now the owner is going to make money every month for 1, 2, 3 years, whatever the case might be, as a rental. And at the end of this time, whoever has the lease option, the end buyer, is going to buy from the owner. So at that point, he's going to get $220,000. Now you paid it down. The payments have been going on for 2-3 years. So now maybe he owes close. The market has come up, so it's coming close to what he knows he wants. And he's going to get rid of the property, plus he has make money in the meantime, plus he has made money in the beginning. So it's a win-win-win situation. Now, again, that's a great, wholesaling lease option has actually really come popular during the last recession we had in 2007, because a lot of people that were trying to wholesale, they really couldn't do it anymore. People wanted to sell, they got stuck on this property, they start turning it into rentals. So therefore, it's happened that a lot of it is just basically instead turning into rentals, they did a lease option. And statistically, I would say 60 to 70% of the people that do the lease option actually are going to buy it. There's still about 30% that don't. But it's not your fault. It's not your problem, because you made some money. You assigned the lease option. I mean, your responsibility when you do a wholesaling lease option, as any lease options, is to make sure that potentially this tenant buyer is viable, right? So I will take him through a lender, make sure they're pre-qualified, and so that it's maybe they have a problem today. They filed a bankruptcy a couple years ago. They went through divorce. They just got their job. The credit is not good enough. They have to do credit repair. So there are potential problems right now. But the thing is, eventually, you can go ahead and do it. They can go ahead and get the property. But if they don't, if things happen in their life that they can't, it's unfortunate. But again, it's not your fault or problem or the seller. So it's a lease option that you set up basically and you wholesale it. Now, going back to, so then you can see this, that when you have an owner that is pretty much stuck on their price, and potentially because they owe, a lot of time when I see that they don't want to budge on the price whatsoever, is because they owe. They owe money for mortgages, they owe money for different liens on the property, and so they say, I cannot take less than $220 in this example because of what I owe. So you can offer a couple of options, right? Just imagine now, if you can go back to an owner, and instead of saying, okay, well, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do, or this is the best I can do. Just imagine if you go to an owner and now you give him two options. You say, okay, I can help you out. We can do a short sale, where we can negotiate with the banks to take a lower payoff. We can work down the liens that you have. Let's run title and see what we can do. And or the third option, we can rent it out as a lease option, and whoever rents it out is going to buy to you at a future date for what you need. So you see now that you're creating different type of win-win-win situations. And the thing is, as a real estate investor, you have to think of yourself as a solution person, right? You're a problem solver. You're there to give them answers to things that they need and see what you can do to help them. And it's not just about cut and dry, being in the business and getting property at a certain price, percentage-wise. You don't want to pay more than this. You don't want to do that. No, it's about really being genuinely interested in helping with what they need help with and offering solutions. So I'm going to answer a couple of questions here. See if there are several of you online, and some of you that I know, some very familiar names, Stephanie and Melvin and Paul. But I have a question here. Do you have to have a real estate license to set up these deals? It depends on where you are, okay? Most states do not need a license. However, Illinois right now does require a license for real estate investors. They want to do any type of wholesaling, assignments, and so forth. So yes, in Illinois you need a license, but in Missouri, for example, you don't. In Florida, you don't. And 95% of the states you don't. Some states, the only state I know that you need a license, that you actually do need a license for sure, is Illinois. Some other one might have the restrictions. So my best suggestion is, for anybody that's not sure, call the real estate board, okay? Get your answer. Don't talk to other agents. Don't talk to other investors. Don't talk to attorneys. Get it straight from the horse's mouth, right? Call the board and ask them, okay, if I want to wholesale deals, do I need a license in the state? Or is there any special requirements that I should be aware of that I need to put on the contract? And that's a very good question, because when I started wholesaling, which was before wholesaling was even a word, okay, this is 25, 30 years ago, basically I didn't know. And honestly, I don't remember how I got into wholesaling. I don't remember if it was me talking to somebody or learning from somebody, but nevertheless, I called the real estate board. Well, being a licensed broker also, I want to make sure the disclosures were correct. But I called the real estate board and I asked them simply, is this illegal? And how can I structure the deal so that, doing a double contract, what clause should I put on the contracts? And, the thing is, if they tell you it's illegal, ask them which statute outlines that. Because just because they don't like it, somebody you talk on the phone, they don't like it, doesn't mean it's illegal. And if they say it's illegal, well, there should be some statute that says you need to have a license not to do this. Like in Illinois, when they passed a law in August, they put it as a requirement, and there is a statute that tells you exactly what they mean. In Illinois case, you can wholesale up to one property a year without having a license, but if you do two or more, you need to have a license. So it's clearly written black and white. So ask them that, but that's where you get the information. Anybody else has a question, go ahead and type it in very quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. Make sure you check my website. It's lauraalameri.com. I have a lot of information, some blogs and podcasts, and training. We do retreats, live events, workshops in my office. I'm a big believer that to give the training without giving the support is really setting up a lot of people not to succeed. And I've gone out of my way a lot in the last few years to really be accessible as a trainer. So, I have events in my office where you can come and spend all day with me. When I come to your city, I'll let you know. I spend all day. You can come. We spend all day together. We have retreats for 3 days, twice a year, where you can come and spend 12 hours each day with us in working on things, being very hands-on. And we have calls every week where we call. We have a forum. We have challenges going up for wholesaling, where we teach you actually every step of the way how to close a deal in 4 weeks or less. So I have really developed a way that we can reach out to everybody and help you really build a business. And it doesn't matter if you want to be wholesaler, buy and hold, fix and flip, raising private money, we have a training for everything. So if it's something of interest to you, to want to learn more about it, go to my website at lauraalameri.com, and there are different pages you can schedule a call with us. You can get more information, and there's something, I'm very transparent as far as which courses are available, the cost of the courses. I'm very, very transparent, and I hope to talk to you soon. So hopefully this was helpful. I know that this is a question I've been asked a lot, and so I said, great, this is how I get ideas from videos, is from hearing from you. Okay, great. Have a great day, have a great holiday, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you make the next year the best year in real estate investing. Thank you.